like to introduce you to someone. This gentleman here is my dad, Dan Allen. My father passed away in 2011, and I'm sure as if any of you have lost a loved one, you know after that there's a lot of emotions that you experience. There's grief and there's sadness, but there's also joy in the memories, the lessons learned, the wisdom that was left behind. My dad taught me a lot of lessons. Some of the key ones that always come up is that family takes care of family. He taught me that things always work out. Don't stress about it. It'll figure itself out. He taught me to never give up on the Cleveland Browns, which says a lot about his resiliency. And the lesson that always comes to mind for me is my dad would always say to me, Aisha, people don't think like you. So if I brought my dad a challenge, maybe an argument with a friend, a disagreement with a teacher, a coworker, even my mom, my dad would look at me and he'd say, Aisha, you have to remember, everybody doesn't think like you. And so as the years have gone on and I've been reflecting on that lesson that my dad taught me, I really began to realize what he was teaching me was to meet people where they are. It's not about where I think people should be, but how do I connect with someone where they are in that moment? So as I've been reflecting on the past year in the LEAD program, I've been thinking about what do I want to be and how do I want to show up as a leader? And the concept that keeps coming to mind for me is grace. Grace is defined as approval or favor. It's an act or an instance of kindness, courtesy or clemency. But it really is, for me, how do I meet people where they are? How do I extend kindness? How do I extend understanding? And how do I support them, who they are and where they are? So as I dug into this, really digging into the concept of grace, I found myself asking a question. How do I extend grace to myself? Like many in this room, I've had many moments in my career where I was focused on the goal. I've got to achieve, I've got to get to next, I've got to figure it out, and I was hard charging. And what I realized in those moments, not only did I lose sight of the people around me, I lost sight of myself. I got disconnected from what my needs were, what I truly stood for. And I had to take a step back and remind myself, I can't always figure it out. I don't always have to endure it. I can take a moment to pause and reflect and rest, to know what is really my need at that moment and how can I take care of myself. And the fascinating thing with that is when you start to see yourself, you can start to see others around you more clearly so you can meet them where they are. When I think about my dad, he really was someone who modeled a life of contentment. He worked every day. He was present for me and my mom. But he also made time for the things that he loved. He golfed every Saturday, weather permitting. And in the cold Ohio winters, he would bowl every Friday. He made sure that he spent time with the friends that he loved and enjoyed, and that he did the things that nurtured him. So as I think about the leader that I want to be, the person that I want to be, I'm constantly challenged to look at how can I extend grace to myself so that I can meet people where they are and see them, and how does that allow me to be effective in the workplace. I would challenge all of you to take a moment to think about, are you being kind to yourself? Are you being understanding with yourself? And take that moment out, whether it's prayer, meditation, reflection, to really get in touch with what you need, because it will allow you to more clearly see others. Thank you.